Out of nowhere, fans were rocked by claims that threatened to shatter the image of one of R&B and hip-hop's most beloved couples. Nelly's ex suddenly appeared with what she called receipts. Undeniable proof, she claimed, that Nelly had been cheating on Ashanti during the height of their romance. Screenshots, cryptic messages, and even old photos began circulating online, with social media sleuths racing to piece together the timeline. Within hours, hashtags exploded, timelines flooded with speculation, and the love story everyone thought they knew was thrown into chaos. The timing couldn't have been more volatile. Nelly and Ashanti seemed to be rekindling old sparks in public, smiling for cameras and dodging questions about their rumored engagement. But behind those staged smiles, whispers of betrayal and broken trust had apparently been swirling for years. Now, suddenly, Nelly's ex was stepping out of the shadows, not just to spill secrets, but to show alleged proof that he'd crossed the line, leaving fans questioning everything. The backlash was immediate. Supporters of Ashanti rallied behind her, while others demanded explanations from Nelly, scouring his social media for any sign of remorse or admission. The air was thick with disbelief. Could he really have risked it all, even as the world watched? Screenshots and DMs suggesting late-night rendezvous began making the rounds, with some fans dissecting every detail, searching for clues that had been hiding in plain sight. But as wild as these allegations were, they were only the beginning. The real story was far more tangled, with hidden betrayals, unspoken doubts, and a history neither Nelly nor Ashanti could escape. And what happened next would only add more fuel to the fire. Beneath the glossy surface of Nelly and Ashanti's relationship, things weren't nearly as picture-perfect as fans believed. Whispers of drama had followed the couple for years, but the truth about what was really happening behind closed doors was far messier than anyone imagined. Industry insiders say that even as Nelly and Ashanti appeared inseparable on red carpets, cracks were forming out of sight. Friends close to the pair described moments of tension, with trust issues simmering just below the surface. Some claimed that Ashanti struggled with lingering rumors about Nelly's loyalty, while others pointed to her own rising fame as a source of friction. It wasn't just random gossip either. There were hints splashed all over social media if you knew where to look. Fans noticed the subtle shade in cryptic tweets and Instagram captions, little digs that seemed harmless at first, but took on new meaning as rumors swirled. One particularly telling post from Ashanti read, "Don't let someone play you twice," sparking a wave of speculation about who she was really talking about. Meanwhile, Nelly often dodged questions about their relationship status in interviews, sometimes laughing it off, sometimes changing the subject entirely. But the real mystery was why the couple kept returning to each other despite the ongoing drama. Some speculated that their undeniable chemistry made it impossible to walk away. Others believed it was simply the pressure of the spotlight keeping them together, afraid to let the public see any weakness. Whatever the case, it was clear their romance was balancing on a knife's edge, and it was only a matter of time before everything spilled out into the open. But that wasn't the whole story. What Nelly's ex decided to reveal next would make the rumors look tame by comparison. Nobody expected the receipts to be as wild as they were. Nelly's ex didn't just share a couple of vague screenshots, she dropped a flood of private messages, time-stamped photos, and even voice notes that left little room for doubt. One cryptic DM, allegedly from Nelly himself, hinted at late-night meetups that lined up suspiciously well with nights Ashanti was out of town for shows. There were blurry selfies snapped in hotel rooms, messages filled with familiar pet names, and a string of playful back-and-forths that seemed impossible to explain away. All of it hit the internet in a matter of hours, instantly igniting debates across fan forums and comment sections. Some fans refused to believe it, swearing the receipts were fake or manipulated, but others zeroed in on tiny details: the wallpaper in the background, the way Nelly signed off his messages, even the emoji choices, as proof that this was the real deal. A particularly damning voice memo where a man with a voice eerily similar to Nelly's promised to keep things on the low started making the rounds on TikTok and Twitter, racking up millions of views. It was as if the whole world was suddenly playing detective, dissecting every word and screenshot for hidden meaning. For Ashanti, the timing couldn't have been worse. As the alleged evidence spread, sympathy poured in for her, with hashtags demanding she deserves better, trending for days. Meanwhile, Nelly's defenders tried to poke holes in the story, claiming the ex was just seeking clout, but the sheer volume and the brutal specificity of the receipts made it impossible to ignore. This wasn't just gossip anymore. It felt like the truth had been dragged into the harshest spotlight imaginable. And yet, as explosive as these revelations were, the real shock was still to come. What Nelly finally said in response would only deepen the drama. Nelly has never been one to shy away from the spotlight, but when these allegations erupted, his response took everyone by surprise. Instead of issuing a straight-up denial or apology, he played it cool, almost too cool. In a cryptic Instagram story, Nelly simply posted, "People will believe anything for clout. Stay true." That single line set off another wave of speculation, with some fans calling it a weak attempt to deflect, and others doubling down in his defense. Over the years, Nelly has always insisted that loyalty means everything to him. Once telling a radio host, "If you don't have trust, you don't have a relationship, period." But those words started to sound hollow as each new piece of alleged evidence surfaced. This wasn't the first time accusations had stalked Nelly's name. Every time cheating rumors made headlines in the past, he would hit back with vague statements or playful banter. He once joked on Twitter, "Y'all wild if you think I got time for drama." But that humor didn't land the same way now that real receipts were out in the open. Friends close to the rapper told gossip sites that he was shaken but not broken, still insisting nothing happened, while others claimed he was desperately trying to do damage control behind the scenes. Fans began digging up old interviews, piecing together every slip and side comment he'd ever made about relationships. One resurfaced clip showed Nelly saying, "Everybody makes mistakes, but some things are unforgivable." That statement took on a new, uncomfortable meaning as the scandal grew. Was this his way of admitting guilt, or just another slick deflection? As the world waited for a real explanation, the tension only grew. But that wasn't the whole story, because Ashanti's reaction would send shockwaves through the entire situation. Ashanti was blindsided. While the world dissected every leaked message and debated Nelly's innocence, she was left to navigate the chaos with cameras in her face and millions watching every move. Those closest to her say she was genuinely caught off guard by the depth of the allegations and the brutal way they were made public. For years, she'd brushed aside whispers about Nelly's loyalty. She'd heard the rumors, but nothing ever seemed concrete enough to shatter her trust. Now, with the so-called receipts splashed across the internet, Ashanti was forced to confront a reality she'd hoped wasn't true. What stung the most wasn't just the betrayal, but the realization that warning signs had been there all along. There were the unexplained late-night phone calls, the last-minute schedule changes, the friends who'd tried to gently warn her without saying too much. Looking back, fans pointed out moments on red carpets where Ashanti's smile seemed just a little too forced, or interviews where she dodged questions about her future with Nelly. In private, sources claimed she leaned on her inner circle, confiding her hurt and frustration, but refusing to let the scandal break her spirit. Ashanti's public response was measured. She kept her head high, posting cryptic but empowering messages. One simply read, "You can't break a woman who's built herself." The support from her fans was overwhelming, flooding her comments with love and encouragement. But beneath the calm, it was clear the accusations had rocked her. Old wounds were reopened, and every detail of her romance was picked apart by strangers. But that wasn't the whole story. With marriage rumors swirling and trust shattered, what happened next would push the couple to the breaking point. As the scandal raged on, marriage rumors that once felt like fairy tales turned into sources of tension and doubt. Just months before the receipts hit the internet, whispers about Nelly shopping for engagement rings and Ashanti dropping hints about forever had fans buzzing with excitement. Paparazzi claimed to spot the couple at high-end jewelry stores, while talk shows speculated about secret proposals and wedding dates. But behind the scenes, trust was already wearing thin. Close friends of the couple revealed that talks of marriage had stalled, replaced with tense conversations about loyalty, privacy, and whether the past could ever really be put to rest. The alleged receipts didn't just threaten their relationship. They put any hope of marriage on life support. Suddenly, every sweet moment was up for debate. Was that romantic vacation a genuine getaway, or just a distraction from drama brewing in the background? Rumors exploded overnight, with some saying Ashanti's family had warned her against tying the knot, while others insisted Nelly was still trying to win her back with grand gestures. Social media lit up with theories about a broken engagement, secret breakups, and even claims that lawyers were already involved in dividing assets. But perhaps the most unsettling development was the silence from both parties about their future together. Fans who once bet on a lavish wedding began to wonder if it would ever happen, or if the scandal had done irreversible damage. The once glamorous fantasy of marriage was now overshadowed by suspicion and heartbreak, and nobody knew if trust could ever be rebuilt. But that wasn't the whole story. The fallout from this drama was just beginning. And what happened next would leave everyone stunned. The fallout from the scandal sent shockwaves that neither Nelly nor Ashanti could have predicted. The public, once obsessed with their love story, now seemed divided into camps, some fiercely defending Ashanti, others questioning whether Nelly could ever bounce back from the mess. Sponsors quietly distanced themselves, and radio hosts debated whether Nelly's reputation had taken a permanent hit. Suddenly, interviews that once focused on new music and career moves became minefields, with every answer picked apart for hidden meaning. Fans who had idolized their chemistry began combing through old photos and videos, searching for clues they might have missed. A stray glance, a forced laugh, a silent moment that suddenly meant everything. Ashanti's career, surprisingly, seemed to gather momentum from the sympathy and support. Her streams spiked, and fans rallied to turn heartbreak into empowerment. But for Nelly, things wouldn't be so simple. While his core supporters tried to drown out the negativity, the internet never forgets, and every new project he released was met with a wave of reminders about the scandal. Friends say the drama left him more guarded, wary of who to trust even within his own circle. Rumors started swirling about heated arguments behind closed doors, secret meetings, and frantic efforts to repair the damage, efforts that the public would never fully see. What really stunned everyone was how quickly the narrative shifted. One minute, Nelly and Ashanti were hip-hop royalty. The next, they were the poster couple for trust gone wrong. The drama didn't just crack their relationship, it shook the foundation of how fans viewed love, loyalty, and fame. But that wasn't the end of it. Just as the scandal seemed to fade, whispers of even bigger secrets waiting to come out started to circulate, suggesting this story was far from over. Just when it seemed like the dust was finally settling, whispers of even deeper secrets started swirling, fueling rumors that the Nelly and Ashanti saga was far from over. Some insiders claimed that the so-called receipts were only the tip of the iceberg, hinting at even more explosive revelations waiting to surface. Online forums buzzed with wild theories. Did Nelly have other hidden flings? Was Ashanti hiding her own secrets out of loyalty or fear? Paparazzi snapped photos of both stars looking tense at industry parties, fueling talk that off-camera confrontations had gotten heated. Fans noticed cryptic song lyrics and emojis on Ashanti's stories, wondering if she was dropping hints about betrayal or plotting her comeback revenge. Adding to the chaos, fresh reports started to emerge about private conversations between Ashanti and Nelly's ex, two women who until now had never spoken publicly. Some claimed Ashanti wanted answers for herself. Others suggested the ex was quietly shopping around even more receipts to top media outlets, threatening to drop another wave of scandal if the story went quiet. The possibility of legal action started to get tossed around, with insiders mentioning NDAs, hush money, and the threat of career-ending leaks. Suddenly, every move, every post, every unfollow, every public appearance was dissected for hidden meaning. The question on everyone's mind, was this just messy aftermath, or the calm before an even bigger storm? With trust shattered and reputations hanging by a thread, the whole world was left waiting for the next bombshell. And what happened next would shock everyone.